3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. It's Smac Talk. You should know that now. You've clicked the link. If you're watching YouTube, apologies. I'm wearing a sleeveless today.
And I'm in a hoodie.
And we've got no one other than Mr. Mike Fox here today. So, Mike, thanks very much for coming on.
No problem.
Really, really appreciate it. We're just going to go straight into this one. As I said, running's the game for you. Running's the big thing at the minute.
Big time. Running's my life. It's been my life for a long, long time. It started when I was 7 years of age, like. So I don't know any different at this stage, like.
7 years of age as in you first ran at 7 years of age or trained or?
First joined a club at 7.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, so I'd done my schools races before that, and then my parents took me a club when I was 7, so.
Oh, right, very good.
That was the start of that.
Very good. So, starting running at 7, that seems like, because obviously, I presume you were born here, were you? Born in Ireland?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
Athletics, it wasn't massive?
No. Well, at the start, was sent to a heap, loads of different things, different sports. You go to, your parents trying to get you into hobbies, Gaelic, soccer, hurling, whatever. I was sent to Irish dancing, loved it. I was sent then to piano lessons, which was my last wee bit that snapped with me. I sent to piano lessons with a lady with one hand. I don't know where that came about or how it was. And I was looking out the window at my wee brothers playing in a park on slides and swings, and I was going, fuck this, I can't go around these sports and all these different things. Didn't want to do that anymore. Back to the parents, what do you think? Can I go somewhere else? Sent me to running. I know at 7, like, you shouldn't have been around a heap of sports at 7, but went to running, into a wee field, run around in circles, see who gets there the first, last, whatever. Simple, straightforward, no thinking required, no skill required. I'll stay here.
They're delighted. You came home, passed out, slept like a baby.
That'll do me.
Burnt all the energy.
This is easy peasy. Just keep going until you're done. So that's where it kicked off. Yeah.
Good stuff. I think that's a big thing for parents. Like, parents just want, I suppose, you want your child to be interested in sport, but the other part of it, you want the fuckers to tire themselves out.
Yeah, exactly. Probably why they sent me to everything. Like, me being the oldest, thinking the rest of the boys will follow suit. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, just you do it. I have a child now too, like, so that's all just started for me, like, taking her to weekend.
And what age is your child now?
She will be 4 now in August, like.
Very good.
So we started that whole crack now.
Yeah.
She's at drama. I'm going to take her out to the piano lessons now shortly. But yeah, that's what it's all about, you know what I mean? And everybody should be doing it. Everybody should be getting into sport like young.
Absolutely. It's the best thing for you. You see so many different things now about, like, joining gyms and, like, all these different sports people are getting themselves into, but there's no better discipline, you know, to train you from a young age of
100%.
getting in, showing up, taking part. Are you a big fan of taking part, or are you more of a competitive sort of guy?
Nah, the taking part's no. Look, I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone here, like, but you gotta, if you're taking part in these things, in my eyes, yes, it's great. I think there's two different sides to sport. Like, there's one side where for people who have maybe not done sport their whole life, and then they take into it in their late teens or 20s, and maybe they want to get in better shape. So for those in that end of sport, it's great. You go to a marathon, there's 30,000 people.
It's great to be a part of it. Yeah.
Brilliant. For me, I don't see the point. Like, I don't know if that's growing up.
Yeah.
I not race very often. If I do race, it's a great, I'm racing there and there. I'm only going if I'm in the shape that I think I'll run a decent time, or I'll win, or I'll do well. Other than that, I don't see the point of it. Like,
yeah.
Do you know? But that's competitiveness. There's another great side to sport where it's just keeping you fit and healthy. Like.
I think that is at the core of what sport is. It's competitiveness.
Absolutely.
It's like
100%.
Don't want to be cheesy here, but, like, the McGregor quote is they're not here to take part. Like,
yeah,
you're here to take over. The whole point. Why would you get yourself into it in the first place?
But that's where I think even more so now that there's two complete different sides to it. Like, because now you're going down the line and you go to a marathon somewhere and you look, like, when I done my first marathon, some man in Uri, like 5 stone overweight, stopped me and was like, "You're doing your first marathon?" I was like, yeah, be no problem. I've done 10 of them. I'm like, but I'm trying to run a certain time. You just went and done it, you know. Yeah. So that you have to understand there is two different sides to it, like, but anyone competing is going to tell you, no chance.
So would you say you mainly compete with yourself then?
Yeah.
To beat, like, your best time, is it? Like,
well, I've spent my whole life racing, like, so you've gone through, like, trying to win county championships to Ulster championships to Irish championships to onwards, you know, so through your whole teens and all, you're competing against, like, I know you, right, well, he beat me, who's that boy in Belfast that won the Ulster title, and so on and so on. But now as you get older, you get slower, so you forget about it, like, you know, you start competing again, right, well, what was my best, I'll try and beat that, and that's where.
And tell me, what was your first, because you've obviously been doing it from a young age, what was your first win? Do your big win? Like, was there like a schools cup or like anything like that?
Do you know, I actually put a picture up last week of me, and it was like, it's so crazy. It was under 9 All Ireland or something. And I remember standing in Santry, a big stadium down in Dublin, stand on this wee podium, and it was like one race on a Saturday and one on a Sunday, and I'd won them both. I think like under 9s. It's mental, isn't it? Like
Under cross country, is it?
Track racing, yeah. So I remember, I swear to God, as clear as day, my ma standing on the side of the track. So when you won the first one, and then going back the next day, and she made me go up onto the podium with yesterday's medal still on on the photograph. You can see them both
there like Michael Phelps with all the medals.
Standing, and the two poor kids beside me wearing like football kits and all. It's not and I'm standing at the top, like, look at me, I'm about to take over the world of running, like, with my 2 wee medals. But that was like 8 years of age, like, so. That's and crazy. Clear as day down that track, lovely summer's weekend, race on a Saturday. Like, you're like a serious athlete.
What sort of distance was that?
I think it was. You didn't even do. I spent all my track time doing like 800s and 1500s, and back then it wasn't even that far. It was like 400 and 600 or something.
For a 9-year-old, like
8 years of age, 600 like a marathon.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean?
It actually is. Yeah. That's crazy. So you never had that, like. You know, I suppose there's like a stigma over running. A lot of people would have if they've never really done before. It's like an effort or like a chore. Like they don't necessarily enjoy it. You personally love it. Like
love it. Like,
love it.
Honestly, and then it annoys me a wee bit sometimes because when I have different people in my work and stuff, and they're saying, "I hate running. I hate it," and you're like 100%. They've been put through something wrong or not offending anyone. Again, the GAA background, like GAA pre-season training is to make boys bulk and be sick. And take them out and run them. They can't run anymore. And that nobody would enjoy running. If you asked me to do that for 3 days, I'd give up running for life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's different ways of doing it. But me, it's the best thing in the world.
So what would be, it's interesting because I've been back to Gaelic this year. What would you, as a runner, recommend then for like the likes of Gaelic clubs? What would be, instead of running them to make them sick, what is the sort of stuff they probably should be doing? Well,
look at in general, man. You've put 25 people, say pre-season training, 25 people out into a forest, say, and you go pre-season. Here we go. What are we doing? 25 people are set off to do the same thing. What are we doing? 600 metres or a K rep or a mile rep or a 10K run. Sure, the boy who plays corner back isn't in the same shape as the boy who plays full forward. Like, and then all of a sudden you've got this whole thing where all the wee full forwards and all the wee light guys and the midfielders are flying on, feeling great about themselves. You've got a couple of heavy set lads at the back there, bad shape. You're knocking the confidence out of them. Yeah. They're feeling shit. They're walking off and going, fuck, I'm making an excuse next Sunday. I'm not going back to that crap. Look at every single GAA team. There's the boys that show up. They're always the fitter, the stronger, the boys that love it. And you've got the all wee critters that, fuck that, pre-season, no chance. I'm injured. I'm sore. My back's sore. Running the wrong way about it.
And it all comes from putting everyone at the same level, basically.
Putting everyone. Well, if you've got a set of guys that are super fit and then you've got the guys that aren't, well, these guys need to be doing something different than these guys. If these guys are fit to run all day, what's the point in putting them out to
run even? And
then if the poor wee guys that are at the back and they're not as fit, well, you need to put them in, right? I know it sounds mad, you're going to running background all the time, but they need to be doing longer stuff.
It's simple, like when you say it like that, it is simple. Like, and I remember we went into the forest and like I hadn't played in a couple of years, so obviously fitness wasn't there, but I got fucking lost. I didn't even know where the boys were. They went through the forest, turned right. I couldn't see which way they went left, and fucking next time, like, where am I?
Gone.
Where am I? Like,
how does that make you feel when you go home?
Like shite. Feel like shite.
And then they're on the group chat that night saying, "Well done, mate," and you're like, "Oh, you're not coming back near that."
Yeah, no, literally, that is actually a fair point because I think a lot of them miss the trick with it. Miss the trick with it, like fuck.
But a lot of teams now, there is a lot of GA teams now taking guys in that have running backgrounds, like, you know, like cross rangers, like they've fella there done running for years, like, and he's in training them. There's 10 years, like, do you know, it's a different mentality.
And there's no coincidence that they're winning, you know, championships and leagues and stuff like that.
You're bringing everybody up. Do you know what I mean? But what the hell? I don't know much about GA. Like,
but it's just an interesting point because I think they're trying to. I personally think the GA is very far behind in terms of their training. Like, if you look at like American sports and how like tailored you are to doing one job, like a wide receiver in American football just catches and runs. That's it. That's all you do. Catch and run. Whereas Gaelic, you're running, you're kicking, you're catching, you're jumping, everything has to be. You
have to be.
But there's no science behind it.
Yeah.
If you look at, like, if I was to go down to a Gaelic pitch, I know I'm getting into it here. If you were to go down to a Gaelic pitch at a guy at say 10 years of age, and one of them kicks the ball over the bar, I go, "You're brilliant." And then the next one goes and kicks the ball and it goes wide. I go, "Well, you'll play it back because you can't kick." Why can't he kick?
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Let's look at what he's doing wrong.
And that's what happens. No. And when you look at, without being cheeky towards anyone, when you stand 15 boys up, and you could nearly pick out who's going to be playing forward, who's going to be playing midfield, and who's going to be playing back.
Yeah.
The wee heavier boys are going to be the boys playing the back end of the pitch. The big tall boys going to be the boy put in the middle. And then the super fit boys. But then when you go to training, they're not putting more work in there, right? Well, if that's our wee strong boys that play back, we'll get them in the gym pumping this and doing this.
Yeah.
putting them out in the fucking forest chasing after a load of wee boys half their weight. Excuse me.
You have no hope.
We'll not offend the GAA anymore.
No, we'll not go into them anymore.
No.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting there, especially with coming back to it. But back to yourself and back to the run. You physically enjoy the aspect of it. Is there like, do you think there's like a mentality wise, or is it because you're doing it from a young age, or?
Probably both. Doing it from being so young, it just becomes normal. Like, and then if I come away from it, I've come away from my sport a few times. Like, I've come away from my sport. I went to Australia for 3 years and come away at 3.5 stone heavier, fat shite. So when I come away from that, I was lost and I was like, oh God. So for a long time, I didn't have it, and then I come back and replaced it with cycling and did that for a few years. But honest to God, it's mad. I just can't understand people who don't.
Yeah.
And there's people now, you'll see them. There's loads of them that've just flipped their life around. Like they've gone to, I'm going to do a marathon to lose weight, and then all of a sudden they're hooked on it.
Do you think it's like do you think it's sort of to do with, you know, not being good at it? Because obviously running is for someone, like, as you said, it can be disheartening. You want to go out and run a 5k and it like takes you an hour, and you're like, oh fuck's sake, like,
yeah.
Do you think it's something to do with being good at it? Puts people off the thought of it, maybe? I
honestly think it's such a good sport because anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Anyone, like, there's people out there and they've gone from being starting running because they were overweight, and all of a sudden you hear this story. Look at Dave Goggins, like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We all look up to him and all. Look at the state his life was in.
Yeah.
And he wanted to lose weight and this, that, and the other. Now, and even in the running scene, you look at him and go, he's taking part in 200-mile running races. Like. So it's not always like, look, I'm overweight and I'm out of shape, so I could never get to there, never be there. There's probably a lot of cases where, right, if you're sitting on a sofa at 35 years of age and you're 4 stone overweight, you're not going to go, well, I think I could win Olympic gold over 5k. You won't, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's for everyone. Everybody can do it and take to it. And for me, I'm literally trying to push it down everyone's throat. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially over the last year and a bit we've had, but there's fuck all else to do. Like, go out and go do the thing. Like
all these new 5k world record holders.
Yeah. All these people have never run their life like 15 minutes.
Yeah, and footballers running 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's unreal. What would be your typical like 5k time? What would be strong 5k?
It's just low 15 minutes. Like,
you're joking me?
So just outside 15. That's all right. Around here maybe, like, but you go and look at. You go as far as Belfast, like, there's boys that are running 14 minutes, and you know,
that's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. But 15 minutes is all. You're a good club runner at 15 minutes, like.
Yeah,
you know.
And how quick? Because I would always say like a good 5k for anyone that doesn't really run would probably be in around 5 minutes a kilometer. I think is like a good strong starting point. How much, like, I suppose it's different for everyone. It's a bit of a general question, but like, obviously you're getting down to the stage now where you're hoping to chip seconds off that time. Say to drop like a minute or like half a minute or 15 seconds. What sort of work are you looking to get that sort of timing down?
Well, again, you're right there, right? So it depends on who it is.
Yeah.
You can't. I hate this whole generic crap where someone goes on and goes, yeah, you can do this in 5 weeks and in 6 weeks. How can you pump that out to 10 different people?
Yeah.
But it depends on who it is, what the background is, what the sporting background. Did you play football, Gaelic, or whatever? But to get, like, it's fairly easy to get yourself from 25 down. You can take. Honestly,
just consistency, is it?
Yeah, and it's just time on your feet. Like, you're not. There's a lot of guys there at the minute, and they'll have the crack with me when they're in with me, and they'll be saying, "Oh, I'll go out on a Tuesday and I do 5k, and then I go on Thursday and do it harder, and then I go on Saturday and do it harder." And you're like, "How on earth do you think that's going to work? Like, would you go into the gym and go, right, I'm just going to lift as heavy as I can every single day, see what happens? You're going to get hurt. You're going to get injured." And people think it's mad. Like, to improve your 5ks and different things like that, you need to be covering a lot of miles and a lot of days. Like. Everybody should be out doing something every day, but if you only take it up and you're only starting it and you're training twice a week, your 5k is 25 minutes, well then let's train 3 times a week, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Without any speed work or anything, just training 2 more days is
just get the kilometers.
You're going to get fitter, you're going to get stronger, you're going to get leaner. Weight will fall off you.
Yeah. And what about these people that are like new in running? Because I'm sure you've heard mad excuse yourself, people not getting into running, like footwear or like listen to music or just close the word. All bullshit, or what do you think? Footwear is probably a big one, is it?
Massive, obviously, right? You can't go out running in a pair of fucking Stan Smith Adidas there and think that you're going to be all right, you know. Yeah. And they're making all these footwear for that reason. But there's a lot of people that get too far into it and go, Jesus, no, they're far too expensive. They're 150 quid, 160 quid. There's brilliant shoes out there for someone starting off at 50 quid, 60 quid.
And what sort of there is other brands available. What sort of stuff should they be looking for? Maybe like what would be the good stuff? It
depends. You should be going somewhere to get checked out. To be like, right, because if I tell you to go and buy a pair of shoes, it'd be brilliant for you. Like, everything has to be individual to a person, which it keeps you right. Like, because if I tell you I run in these, and you go, right, I'm going to buy them, brilliant. Without being looked at or checked, you could be complete opposite. You could be something different. You could need.
What do you mean looked at or checked? Who would do that for you?
You go and get gait analysis done, which is you go on a treadmill, they have a wee look at you and be like, oh God, this guy's feet turn in the way as they turn out the way.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? So when they check your gait and have a look at you on a treadmill, there's so many people who they'll just turn in, which is be like, right, you need a wee support shoe to bring you back out again. If you're not running in that, all of a sudden you're supposed to be like this is perfect, and your feet are turning in all the time. What's going to happen? You're going to cause injuries. And then that puts you off like 4 or 5 weeks of training. You're going, I'm sore every day. This is crap. Whereas if you change your footwear, got the right shoes, all of a sudden you'll be fine.
And what sort of places would do that sort of analysis for you on your feet? Is there anywhere local that would do that, or?
There's a shop down in Armagh. You can book in with them, Armagh Sports. Now round here, I don't know, or I'm not too sure if there is anyone local. I'm not too sure. If
there's anyone you know of, anyone, let us know, because that sounds
it
would benefit a lot.
It's something
of people,
I want to want to try and do it for people. Like right now, I'm working my own wee business and it'll build up, but that's something that I think's great and I want to do myself. So if people come in and they're like, right, what should I be doing and blah blah blah, it takes a couple of minutes on a treadmill with a camera to put it into slow motion and go.
For the rest of your life, something that you know,
and then then if you go onto the Nike website or the Adidas website or whatever, that you go, right, well, I need a structured shoe or a support shoe or a neutral cushion shoe, where most people will be in a neutral shoe, which is just cushioned. It's fine.
That's unbelievable. I didn't realize there was such, because you always just see it. It's always so generic. That's the problem. The problem is you need like a shoe with a boost or a cushion, or and that's all you see. Or like, because remember I was listening to Joe Rogan. We were talking about Joe Rogan before we started this, and I think it was Eddie Izzard that was on with him, and he would run a lot of he ran a couple of miles and stuff. But he said he was talking about the flatter your foot is, in terms of like Joe for running would be better, and he was out in Africa. Sorry, he's listening to me. Go away. Sorry. Siri's always listening. No, but Eddie Izzard was out in Africa, and he was saying he was running, and the kids there were just laughing at him because they're running barefoot beside him, no bothers, like literally like gazelles sprinting alongside him. But do you think there's something there? And I know we're getting into the biomechanics of it, but like in terms of having a flat foot, is that what's best, or is it like? Do you think there's been like evolved over time how our feet have like shaped into what a shoe is? Or
definitely not. There's so many people again, right? And I work in that industry with like helping people and all, and then I used to work in sports shops selling shoes and all as well. So there's so many people, and they come up with the same waffle all the time. Like, oh, I can't run that. I'm flat footed, and you're like, what the frig? Where are you? What does that mean? Like, you know, you've got a flat foot. So there's guys there, mate. Go and look up some of the best athletes in the world. Some of them have huge high arches in their feet. Yeah. And the normal guy running about in your tail, you can't run with them feet. You couldn't do that. There's someone else, a great athlete, could have a completely flat foot. It's just, it's your body, your makeup. You shift around it. Like, if you've got a completely flat foot, well then, let's put you in a shoe that has the stuff in it that you need.
Work for you.
Yeah,
that's fine, it'll work for you.
Yeah,
that's fascinating. I didn't realize there was so much in it.
Massive
in it, and
massive.
just your foot. Like, is it a?
You can pronate and overpronate, like so, turning in and turning out, like. But that's a very simple thing. If you go to the right shop, they'll put you in that shoe, and for the rest of your days, then you'll know. You'll be like, okay, running structure shoes. There's some guys out there that are good runners, and they'll go on a website, one of these big brands, and look and see, I love them. I can't get them. They're a neutral shoe. I need structured shoe.
Oh, really?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The likes of me, my foot's neutral. I'm fine. So if I run in a structured shoe, it pushes me out, which that'll cause injuries. And so if I went down to a certain outlet and picked up a pair of shoes and go, there's a good pair of running shoes, they're only 40 quid, and they're structured shoe, I could, if I didn't know and I put them on and running them, I could be throwing myself the other way.
And this sort of like information, like a structured shoe, it's just as easy as what, reading the box or knowing your stuff?
Yeah, it'll say on the box. Like, if you go and you get checked out that you need a structured shoe, it'll say on the box, like, of any of them.
That's unbelievable. The only thing I ever looked at on a pair of shoes was size and price. Yeah, that's it.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a simple wee thing, and it sounds boring, like footwear, blah blah. But it's a simple wee thing where people keep getting hurt all the time.
And what sort of injuries would that cause if you didn't,
Well, you're going into it, so just from your foot onwards, like, so if you're running the wrong way there, you're straight into your calves right away where you're running. If your calves are pulling tight, you'll get Achilles issues, you'll get plantar fasciitis, you'll get shin splints. That's only going from your foot to your knee. Yeah. If they get bad, that'll trigger off the whole way up your. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's a small thing that you can pull out straight away. If you're in the right footwear, boom, that's a start.
Yeah, and exactly. Never mind, because as I was saying about the excuses people make about not having their AirPods or their headphones or their fucking vest, the rest of that, bullshit.
Bullshit.
Like,
Bullshit. I get it all the time, every day. Sore knees and sore this. And that road running's bad for you. It's bad for your knees.
Myth, is it?
There's a man in Northern Ireland right now, he's 62 and he's running 2:31 for a marathon. He's running his whole life. What's the crack with his knees? Like?
Yeah.
You know.
So where do you think the bad for your knees comes from? What is that about?
It goes right back to people, dudes running about in old Umbro shoes that they have had for 4 years. Pull them out of the cupboard, and the mentality of go out the door, no pain, no gain. This whole line, that's not true. And then go hard or go home, blah blah blah. Not the case. And these are all things that everyone goes off like. And look at yourself. If GA is your background and you look and you go, yeah, sure, maybe group chat. John done a 22-minute 5K, so I went out and tried to beat him and did a 21. You can't walk for 2 days. Yeah. You've did it in a pair of shoes, you may as well be in welly boots. Yeah. You can't walk for 2 days and then that's you're back to square one again.
Joe, it's so funny because I guess we've got this far without even mentioning that you do sports massage as well. But like with someone's background that running and sports massage and they talk to you in black and white, you just sound like a moron. Like you do. Like and just when you talk to someone just that wee bit of knowledge, you're like, it is bullshit. Like it's like no, running on tarmac is not fucking bad for you. You fix your feet, it fix your shoes, and it's good.
Yes, alter it. Go do wee bits in the grass and do wee bits in the forest. Do you not think guys that are running marathons, like there's local lads here running anywhere between 70 and 100 mile a week every week, like and they're in the right footwear. Oh, Michael, my legs are getting sore. What should I do? Take a day off. Go to the pool. Go swim. Go cycle. Go walk. Go to the forest. Change your shoes.
Yeah, like you said, look at that guy in Belfast running like 2:31s or like fucking even the extreme. Look at Mma Fighters. Not fucking wrong. Yeah, he's a stick figure. Like, but
and he will have injuries and he'll have things that bother him and all the rest. But just keep on top. Mma Fighters doesn't turn around and go, "Oh fuck, my knee's sore. Yeah, I'm out." Do you know what I mean? And then he'll wake up every day with something sore, like as do the rest of us we average Joe runners. Like I had a sore knee on Monday. Fucking Wednesday it was a sore hip. Oh Jesus! Doesn't mean you pull the plug and go, I can't do this running, Craig.
Yeah. So as I touched on there as well, like the sports massage aspect of what you're doing. Now it's one thing. It's surely over the last few while I think got massive because you never heard of injuries back in the day. Like my dad would tell you, like playing football, if you hurt something, like there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah. Get on with it. Like whereas now you have like 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds with tight hamstrings or pulling quads and all this stuff, which it just didn't seem like back in the day that was a thing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's just massive now, the sports massage and the recovery side of it, which I mean, it's good for you.
Good for me, surely, yeah.
It'll keep you busy.
Keep me in a living. But yeah, I don't know. It's not that it wasn't a thing. It was obviously a thing. Obviously, old men were getting injured and all the rest. Now, just before I came here, one of my last clients was a man probably a bit older than my dad, like, and we were actually talking about that, you know, and I was like, have you ever had this done? He was like, nah. And he's out in a building site, he played Gaelic football his whole life, he's out in a building site with a sore back, and he's sitting there and he's like, oh, you couldn't, 30 or 40 years ago, you couldn't go and tell somebody you were getting your back rubbed, you're going up to some shed to get somebody to rub your back. And that was just a mentality.
That's what it was.
And when did you go run to physio? When you were buckled and you were sore, and that was it. Like, he poked and prodded you for a wee while. Now we're in a different generation completely now, even from when I was your age, like, you know, completely different. It's cool now to be going to the gym, to be fit, to run about with a six-pack, to be hurt. When you're in that whole circle, then those guys are talking about, well, I do this and I eat right and I don't drink and I go when I get myself looked after and maintained. So it's a completely different generation, which is class for me.
Yeah, it's class for everybody.
For everybody.
It can only have benefits all around. Like, cause what the fuck is the point of sitting there, especially whenever you get to like your older age and you're tired and you just can't go anywhere, you can't do anything.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're crippled or you've hurt yourself or But yeah, what would be, I suppose, because I'm interested in like how you get into that. How sports massage, like how to come back, not only probably that it's busy and there's a demand for it, but like what were you like in school, or were you interested in like autonomy and stuff like that back then? Well,
I've always been into my sport and into trying to keep fit and always wanted to do something involving in sport. And when I left school, I went down over to St. Coleman's to do my A-levels and stuff like that, and then I was like, what would I like to do? I'd love to do PE teaching or something because that involves sport and blah blah blah. And when you go down that whole line, yes, PE teaching probably does involve sport and all the rest, and then you look at it and you're like, hold on a wee second, you're going in to babysit children all day, like, you know. And then I went, look, through the last couple of years I could literally write a book like about where I've been and what I've done. I worked in a sports shop like that, Armagh Sports. I worked in there selling running shoes. They have the best supply of running shoes you can get. The man in it has been running at a high level for 40 years. So I went down that whole line. I was like, yeah, well, you're involved in sport here as well. And then I went off to Australia for 3 years, went back to my original trade. I'd done bricklaying as a trade. So that's when I left school I did that. back to Australia, did that again. Went from bricklaying into working in the mining industry in Australia, which is standing in a trench with a shovel 12 hours a day, and that was as far away from sport as you could get. Like. So when I come back home, then I was like, what am I going to do? And then when you come home, you're at an age, you'll get there too, where you're like, right, I need to buy a house, I need to get a mortgage, I need to do all this shit.
You're giving out together.
Well, you're not, yeah, well, you know, when I was getting married and all, so you're not exactly at the stage where you can go, oh, I'll go back to school now and see what I can do. Yeah, you got to work, you got to get money. Like. So I went into some wee normal jobs down in Uri and working in wee office jobs, and throughout that, just in the background, I was like, where or what can I do? Like? And I literally just sat and got back into doing exams and studying and going back. And now it was not handy enough, like, but because you come through GCSE, doing GCSE PE, A-level PE, anatomy and physiology and all, and in being in sport, you've always got an understanding of your body and how it works and why it works. When we pick up an injury, like, you can tell a sports person when they come into me because they're naming muscles and they're going, this is sore and I think it might be that. So I was like that. And when you're going through, so I just went back and just tried to go down that line. I was like, look, I might go nowhere with it, I might not. And every time I do an exam or go again, maybe do another one and see where it went. Yeah. So I was doing that outside of my own job.
So you're doing like an evening class or stuff like that?
Evening classes and weekends, and then once you'd pass one exam, I'd sign up for another one and sign up for another one. And then if I got a wee bit of money or saved on, I'd be like, sure, I'll keep going and I'll keep going. And then, to be honest with you, it was the whole COVID thing. I was in my job, and then you're out of work, you're in work, you're out of work, you're in work. And I was doing my sports massage on the side, evenings and weekends and all, and it was gradually getting busier and busier and busier. Fuck, I wonder I could. And I swear I didn't intend on it being my job. Like, I did it out of pure interest and being like, fuck, I keep getting sore and hurt. What? Maybe I could help myself here by just studying it a wee bit more and looking a wee bit more. Just have an addictive personality, so anything I do, it's like, whoa, let's go. And then through the whole COVID, being off on furlough and let go, and then I was like, well, our job was still allowed. It was still allowed to be open and happen. I was like, this is good. So no matter what happens in the world, we're still allowed to work. And then through that, I was going to my own job, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, working to 2:30, 3, coming out and running, and then working my massaging from 4 to 9 every night. And I did that for like a year. I was just burnt out. Like, I said, I can't keep this going. And then different people were like, can I come in during the day? Can I get an appointment at the weekend? You're like, I'm goosed here. Like, this is burning me out. Like, and I had loads of conversations with my wife going, fuck, can I take a chance here? Not a really good time in the world to give up your job. No. Like, so I did. I just took a risk and took a chance. And I think sometimes when you do that or leave yourself in a position where you're like, right, sink or swim here, like, you have to make this work. I have a family, I have a mortgage, I have bills, I have a child.
Yeah. It's funny to say, because I've had a lot of like online coaches and stuff come on lately, and like they all live at home, you know, they don't have really that burden of like supporting someone or like looking after a family or trying to save for a house and stuff. And it sounds easy. They make it sound so easy. It's like, I could just quit my B&Q job there and then started, you know,
take
working
a chance,
here. It's like, but that's not a proper risk.
No, because your mum's not going to fuck you out of the house. Like, do you know what I mean? If I go home and tell my wife I've made 40 quid in the last month, what's going to happen? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's serious repercussions there.
That's why even now I try and, like, I only took the risk a while ago, like, and I'm trying so hard to convince so many younger people. If you're still at home with your parents and all, take the chance now, because if it doesn't work, is your ma going to throw you out of the house? No. It's going to tell you you're not getting your dinner, rubberhead, you've only worked 4 hours this week. No. So it scared the life out of me, like, it really did. Like, and when I did it, I'm working a good wee job in a good wee place, and you're getting your wee wage every month, and you're like, it's okay. And to turn around and take a chance, I was taking a chance, and I had these evening appointments all the time, and I was like, shit, what if I quit? And then I go in and I go, right guys, I'm free all day here. And it's like, nobody wants you during the day. And you're going, shit, I'm sitting around. And do you know what? Secretly in the background, it was like, if that happens, I'll just stick my gear on and go running for 3 hours a day. Fuck it. And I'll still be able to do my appointments in the evenings and the weekend. And sure, if that only covers the wage, so what? Like, there's bound to be 1 or 2 people want to come in during the day. But thankfully, it hasn't gone like that. Like, it's gone the opposite.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And it's good to hear that, you know, taking that risk was so worthwhile for you.
Yeah.
And what age are you now?
35 now.
35. So doing it at 35 is a pretty fucking big commitment. Like, big commitment. Like, and I guess to anyone listening, because you have people that obviously, you know, have like, I always call it like your side hustle.
Yeah,
like, just keep
everyone
going,
has a wee side hustle.
Just a wee something, like. But if you can make that, because I mean, I'm sure you enjoy doing the sports massage more than whatever your other job was.
I love it, I swear, and it scares me more. It still scares me because I literally love doing it every day, talking to different people involved in sport, and every day you're like, shit, I'm getting money for this, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's literally like getting money for me and you talking here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this can't be this good, like, do you know? But fingers crossed it continues. Do you know, I got to be thankful and grateful for the area we live in. Like people are so good, so kind, and at the start they maybe be like, oh, we'll give him a turn. Like, you know, that's all you ever hear about here. Give that poor wee lad a turn there. Yeah. And thankfully people have come in and they've continued to come back in, which means a world to me. Like, I'm so grateful for it. Like,
well, I personally found you on Instagram, and it wasn't through like I'll give this lad a turn or whatever. It was from, this lad's really fucking good at what he does.
Oh, class,
do you know what I mean? So like, it's not as if anymore, like, don't get me wrong, I love when people like even share us and go give them a turn and stuff, but it's so fucking rewarding to hear that what you're doing is making a difference to people, and you're doing a good job, and hats off to you.
Thank honestly, you so much. No, it really
I've heard brilliant reports, and people are fucking
I pay them all the time. What are you joking?
People are flying fit because he is.
No, that's good. Fingers crossed, mate. That's all I want. Like, you know, and because I've been in that position myself, going into these places and going in, but like, please help me out. I want to be back at my sport. And people don't understand how, when you're taken out from your sport or taken out from your wee hobby or your training, how it can affect you. Like, you know,
massive. It's huge. Massive. It's not even just a breakdown in routine. It's your social scene. It's your everything. You know, your outlet, like the stress you relieve from doing sports, the fucking hormones it produces. Like, it's unbelievable for you. Yeah, it is unbelievable for you. And you take that away from someone, and even sitting on the sidelines and watch people, like,
I'm telling you, my own wife, like, she would pay someone to fix me, because it's like, get him out of here. Listening to him run about like a bear with a sore arse, grumpy. Yeah. But that's what it is, and if I can help a wee small bit and just keep people moving forward and keep people half in a bit of shape that they go, brilliant. Happy days. Happy days.
I seen on your Instagram you like to share quotes from
Love
time
it.
to time. Where do you get that from, or like, where does the quotes come from, or what is it that makes you want to just, because you can just sit there and, you know, stay in the shade and do the massages and work away. What is it that wants you to make people like positive, or like those quotes? What is that all for?
Right, look, I'm telling you, you can go as deep as you want here, right? Every single person that has sport or is deep into their sport, they've got, there's some people that are half decent at their sport, or they're good, or not even necessarily sport, whatever they do, right? May it be their work, their job. There's a wee something in them that they're a wee bit, not a maniac, I don't want to brand someone with that, but there's always a wee something mad in people. I've had my sport my whole life, right? And through my life, I've had some great things and bad things and all. Through my teenage years, I lost two of my best friends, died and passed away. And through that whole journey, like, it was brutal, shite and crap. And you're a teenager and these things happen and you go, what the fuck? How do I deal with this? Like, and I had my sport the whole time. So when I was going out running by myself, it might have been an emotional wreck. You might have been out for a run crying by yourself. And it was an outlet. It was you can't sit in your school and blurt and cry. You can't sit out with your mates and blurt and cry. You can't sit in your house and let your mum or your dad see you doing that, because they'll fucking be over you and worried about you. And this is massive at the minute, where people's going, it's okay to talk. It is, but still loads of people not doing it. And to me, I think, and even with my job there, I find it with sport and I find it with my job, and the link in with each other, like. And when you get talking to someone for long enough, or you run or train with them long enough, everyone has some sort of wee demon or some sort of wee shitty thing taking over there, and you'd be like, well, why are you getting on like that? Or why are you trying to be positive? There's a certain level of it, right? You don't need to throw it in people's faces, and you don't need to be like certain people and be like, wah, 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 this is the best, the world's fucking great. But you do have to understand that no matter what's going on with you, right, you might think your thing's the worst thing in the world right now. And you need to take a wee step back, take a wee breather and go, hey, hold on a wee second. Right, my girlfriend broke up with me, or my dog died, or whatever it is, my race went shit. Take a wee breather, take a wee step back. There's some creator 2 doors away that's got 3 months to live. There's someone else out there who is homeless, living on the streets, no money, no house, no nothing. And you're maybe crying about, you fucking got a C in your exam. You know, and at that time, at certain times in my life, I thought things were the worst in the world, and how could anything get any worse? So I try my best just to. I've sailed through these wee hard times, and I've used running all the time as it. And these are the things that they crap up on all the time. These wee quotes, read them, take a wee second and read it, and relate it to yourself. Like, it's all right. You read some of them, and the people will just flick past and be like, just wing nuts at it again here. Like, you know, nearly every one of them. If you read something and you hold it for a wee second, you go, do you know what? That is right, or that's cool, or that's pretty relatable to me. And I can guarantee you now, you don't need to tell me anything, but there's some sort of demon inside you somewhere, something that's pissed you off, or something that you've been like, oh, that was brutal. Like. But
I think I'd see the other day. It made me think there just as the ask question, because the other day I very rarely use my personal Instagram account for stories and stuff. But I was doing a uni assignment. I've been on placement all year, and they said you're going to have to submit these essays. So I did one of them. It was 1,000 words, fine. Thought that was it all done. And then seeing that 2,000 more words to do. And this is on Friday night. It's due this Monday. I was like, fuck, I'm meant to be doing all this stuff the weekend. Flat out, fuck this. And then I was like, you know what? This is actually bullshit, because they also charged me £2,000 this year, and I haven't had one lesson.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd have a wee rant on Instagram and a wee moan about it and stuff like that there. And I suppose I sort of let the demons out, but not, just a wee something that was bugging me. And I just let it fly, and I must have had about 4 or 5 different people reach out to me, and each one of them had a different response. Some of them were laughing, some were saying, man, chill out. Some of them were saying, one person actually wrote to me and said, actually, the guy, his name's Dan, he was on before, he was like, look around you, there's people in fucking worse situations, like, and I was like, but sometimes it's good to have that wee fucking yap. Do you know what I mean?
Get it out.
I just need to get this off my chest, because it's bugging me.
But wait, see if you had a cap that in, I'm telling you, it would have tied you up.
Yeah, but it was so small.
Doesn't matter.
But
so if somebody something small, like, to me that might have been something small. Some of the things I could tell you that have had me up over the years, you'd be like, really? Yeah. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
But get it out. I'm telling you, this whole crack of lately, sport and hobbies and people getting out and being active, it's unreal. And again, you read it it's unreal for mental health, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It is though, like it is, and that's why I'm trying to push people down that line. It doesn't matter if it takes you 45 minutes to run a 5k. You'll come home and you'll feel like Superman. You'll get into the shower and be like, look at me, look what I did today. Stop comparing yourself to, you look at me and go, he lives around the corner, he's ran 15 minutes. I'm looking at some guy in Belfast ran 13 minutes. He's looking at Mma Fighters, that'll always happen.
Yeah. It's better in pictures, but I'll describe it in words for people listening. There was an image I remember seeing, and it honestly did change my perspective on life. It started off, there was a guy looking at someone in a helicopter. He was driving his car and he looks at the guy in the helicopter and goes, fuck, I wish I had a helicopter. Then there's a guy on a bike looking at the guy in the car saying, fuck, I wish I had a car. Then there's a person walking going, fuck, I wish I had a bike. And then there's a person in a wheelchair looking at the guy that was walking going, fuck, I wish I could walk. And do you know what I mean? You just sort of, you're like,
100%.
There's always somebody fucking in a worse situation than you.
Class. Always. And here, you don't need to look too far, mate. You know what I mean? And people have very little money. People are stressing out over jobs, over money, over family, relationships, everything.
Yeah.
You take a wee step back at your own life, it's probably pretty fucking alright.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, you can't let things get on top of you, and I do understand people's problems and stuff like that, but it is good, and sometimes you can fall under I've recently started thinking, like, there's so much motivation and good on Instagram that people are putting out, that the other night I just got a bit like, would you say the fuck up? Like,
that's what I mean. Sometimes when you share a wee thing, you're like, somebody's gonna look at this and go, would you shut up the fuck? Do you know what I mean?
I was like, but then I sort of thought to myself, I was like, but that person will also open up and talk about the shit. Do you know what I mean? As long as you're being open-faced about it, like, look, be positive, be motivation, but
don't let on everything's perfect all the time.
Perfect. Don't sell that narrative, because it's bullshit. At the end of the day, it is bullshit.
Some people do that. It's all great. It's all perfect.
It's all great, and this amazing lifestyle, and I was out for drinks and all these good times, and they have their demons too, like
big time. Probably worse than me and you.
Yeah. Let's not get into those ones.
No,
let's get into those ones. But talk to me about Australia then as well. So you went to Australia?
Yeah. I went to Australia. The reason I went at the start was my brother had been there for a good few years and no sign of him coming home. Like, so I thought he would come home after 6 months, then thought after a year, then thought after 2 years, and no sign of this by coming home at all. Like, and then my wife now, who I was only going with a few months at the time, I turned around to her, like, I was only seeing her a few months, and was like, gonna go to Australia. I was like, oh god, right, so it's gonna put a stop on me and you and on. And like a madman, I'm like, sure, come on with me. And she was like, what? Get out of it.
Were you being serious, or were you just sort of like,
actually
I'll just say, come on, just
no, I chased her for a while, like, so I knew if I could get a hold of her, I wasn't letting go of her. And I was like, right, come on, I'm telling you, it'd be great. And God help her, she was like, what sort of madman? And then she went home and said to her parents, she was like, this boy wants me to, what? And I remember trying to talk her around, and was like, look, if worst case scenario, we go out for a couple of months, you don't want to be the guy, whatever, you'll still be at the other side of the world. It'd be the best thing you've ever done, you know. And we had only planned for going for a few months, and we ended up there for a couple of years, and that was the best experience of my life. Like, it was class. You know, you do your travelling, you go around the cities and all, and you work in the cities, you do what you got to do. But at one stage, me and Michelle were out there sleeping in a fucking car, like, no house, no job, no money.
Fuck me. Literally homeless, like.
5 or 6 hours away from the near city, and God help her, she was sitting on the side of the road one day screeching, being like, I want to go home. I was like, I don't even have enough money to get you home. I had $4 in my bank account. and was literally driving around beaches because there was a shower on them to get washed. But hadn't enough $4. You can't even take that out of a bank. And I remember having enough money in the car one day to take change out and be like, right, we've got money for a cup of tea between us. And I was like, fuck. But at that time, I remember saying to her, and she backed me up on this. I looked at her crying on the side of the road and was like, see, right now, you're probably the freest we're ever going to be for the rest of our life. She's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I'm fucked here. I have no money, no job. No. And I was like, we've no mortgage, we've no job, we've no bosses to answer to, we've no kids. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just clawed our way back, and God help her. She's like, you know, my ones have money there if we want to fly home and all. I was like, no chance. I can't let this beat me. Like,
yeah.
So we clawed our way back and made our way back to the city after sleeping in the car for a long time. Mate, we took turns sleeping in the car. Slept in a fucking graveyard one night and was like, you go to sleep now, right, for 2 hours and then
I'll stay and watch.
And as you stay awake in case anyone robs us or what were they going to rob? We hadn't got anything. And then we'd move on to the next bit. And we eventually got back into the city. And when we got in the city, I got back out bricklaying. And then was bricklaying. I met a fella who got me a job in mining. Mm-hmm. And I went from having $4 in my bank account to getting this bananas money that these people were paying for the mining industry. Woof.
Yeah.
So if you just stick in there, you claw your way back. You know what I mean? Like,
there's nothing worse. I think every fella's been there at one stage, even if it's not something as dramatic as that. But like, Joe, your woman's she's fed up, she's crying, everything. You're sitting there like, there's nothing you can really do.
I showed her episodes of Home and Away, but like, come on, I take you there with everything's great. And come on, we go. I promised her the moon and stars, and then all of a sudden she's sitting at the side of the road with no money, no house. Are you going to blow up that airbed so I can go to sleep again? There was even a hole in the fucking airbed, so I had to puff it up really quick and hope that you got to sleep before it went back down again. Do you know? But them's good. Like, see now, like, I'm happy with my life and I'm doing all right. And them's the times you remember. Like, and that poor girl's still stuck with me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
if she's gonna stick through that, she'll stick through you.
Definitely, like, she wasn't getting away after that. But look, Australia was class. I would recommend anyone to go and do it. Whether you're gonna go to hostels and live it up for a year, or you plan on going there to save money, and you mature so much. Like, you leap forward. Like, to you don't have all your wee comforts. Like, do you know when these young guys go to Belfast to uni and all, and they talk about being, I was off at uni, and come on, you've been home to your ma's fridge every weekend, raided it, you're drinking beer with your mates in Uri. You go away out somewhere like that, and when the shit hits the fan, you soon grow up. Like,
I see what happens. Like.
And then you're not going to ring home and tell your ma that, oh, here, I'm sleeping on the side of the road here, and you don't.
Yeah, that's the story you tell when you get home.
When you're home, and you're safe and sound. Yeah, exactly.
How'd you get on? Yeah, great.
Class, we're living the dream. Her screeching in the background. But that's what it's all about, mate. It builds character. Like, at the time, I didn't think so. Yeah. £4.
Did you get much? Were you getting abuse from the woman at that stage? Was it like, this is all your fault, or was it?
No. Oh, Jesus, you gotta feel sorry for the critter. Like, you know, you take her out and you're going, I'm gonna take you around Australia. But where do you see how class this is gonna be? Do you know? And in my head, like, you sort of know, right? There's gonna be some shitty bits, like, but didn't think it would have got that shitty. Like, but at the same time, I was like, it'd be all right. But no, God, I felt more sorry. Like, I was like, look what I've done. I've took this girl out here. And then, of course, you resort back to social medias, like, and you see this one's having a good time and she's in Bondi Beach living it up. And then I'm looking at maybe other fellas, you know, strutting about Bondi or doing this or doing that. And you're like, fucking hell, I'm stuck in a car here, blowing up a bed, hoping that it stays there before it goes down. Like. But it is what it is. It's class. Yeah. See now, like, she made me a wee book. She was taking photographs through this whole process, and I remember going, why are you taking pictures? We're fucking homeless. Yeah. And you're sitting beside me taking photographs. I'm sitting in a blanket with £4 in the bank and you're taking pictures of me. And I remember losing a head one time going, stop taking photographs, like, this is stressing me out. And then, I don't know how long later it was, a couple of years later, whenever she produced this wee book, like, I was screeching my eyes out. There was pictures of me in the front of this car all freezing with a blanket, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot all about it. Like,
that's unreal.
Class.
That's one thing partners are brilliant for. Do you know, they always, like, especially like girlfriends and stuff like that, they'll do that sort of stupid soppy shit men never do. Yeah. Like, you go on a lad's holiday, there will not be a fucking photo unless it's one of your mates jumping in with his horse hanging out.
Something trying to make a fool out of it. Yeah.
Do something stupid, whereas women do all these fucking nice,
much more sentimental than us. Yeah.
Men are such meatheads at times. Yeah. Like, do stupid shit, like. And
then you're sitting blurting your eyes out at some photograph of you having no money and no food. But it's good. Yeah.
Look how far we've come. That's amazing. That's probably one of my favourite stories I've had on the podcast so far.
We keep going, mate. Jesus Christ.
I can't get over it, because you're right, like, people go away after Belfast and think, like, oh, I'm moving out of home. I remember talking to a woman from South Africa, and she was saying, like, you move out of home to go to a class that's 40 minutes away. Drive.
And you're paying mad rent for a house and all.
A house you don't even live in. Yeah. So you live in it maybe 4 days a week, and you're sitting there paying this fucking money for it, and it's a shithole.
And you think that you've gone out and taken over the world because you
Yeah.
live on your own. Nothing against those creators. Don't
No.
think that's wrong. That's a good first step and all the rest. But don't then think that you're ready to conquer the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you've gone to Belfast and lived by yourself for a while.
Definitely. A lot of people talk to you that are older and all. They definitely said, like, get out of Northern Ireland, get out of Ireland,
Yeah.
just and go fucking go.
And it's always I
Put
hate
yourself in that
to
situation.
hear younger people talking about they'll be in Uri and it's I hate Uri and Uri's a shithole and you're like, what?
Mhm.
Oh, where have you been to say that this place is class?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's full of good people. It's a class wee place, like, but you need to go away from it to realise how good it is.
I'd say you're maybe the fifth person I've had on this podcast say that.
Yeah.
Newry is a fantastic place.
Class.
It's amazing. And like, maybe we're just young and fucking stupid. That is actually exactly what it is.
You're
You
not,
don't appreciate
sometimes you just need to see that some shitty things out there, like to realise, like, you go to Australia and go into a bar and see how long your 40 quid will last you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go into a bar in Australia right now, it's probably $15 to $20 for a pint, like.
Like, even you think about Newry just on a safe aspect, like, there's no real street or, do you know, anywhere you turn down where you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, you could walk in, like, my old job that I was working in just before lockdown there, during lockdown there, the office that was at, there was a picture of the gate beside, that's where all them fucking Shankill Joe rats and all the, there was a policeman burnt out right beside that place. And if, say, I went down there and fucking took my work bag, sometimes it would be my football bag, Joe, if I walked down there, you're in trouble, like.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be lucky.
We're lucky. We don't have that, like, you know, and people around here don't realise that. It's such a good, but it wasn't like that all the time.
No.
But now we're lucky. We're in a good generation. I don't know. Stresses me out when some kids fucking get on about Newry saying it's this, that, and the other. It's class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go in there and get a Chinese for $5, get your hair cut for buttons.
Yeah.
You can walk into Newry if you want to get pissed and walk home. You don't get that everywhere, you know.
Yeah, but everyone looks out for each other. That's the other big thing about Newry. Everyone, as you said earlier, like, people do you turn and look
Good
after
people,
you. And
good people.
just
There
good
is
people, like,
both sides of it, like, but sure,
you get that everywhere.
full of negative heads.
Yeah, well, you get that everywhere, and that's something I always preach on here. Is like, just if you have people negative in your life or whatever, just good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
You keep moving on. Yeah, exactly.
You've mates. I remember even listening to one further. Did you listen to Gary V? No. You
No.
ever heard of him? He's like a motivational guy and stuff. He was talking about like how you just have like mates that maybe pull you down. Like you said, like you could have been going for a sports massage and someone would have said to you, no, stick to your job.
Yeah.
His whole thing would be like, fuck them.
Yeah.
Get them
100%.
out. Get them out. Maybe have a mate, even for students that listen to this, like you have a mate who's just complete stoner, like doesn't do anything in his days, and now I'm not going to class today. Get him the fuck out. Don't live with him next year.
Yeah.
Do things and look after number one, really.
100%. You have to be, without being a dick, you have to be selfish. And I say this to boys, how do we buy in earlier, and he's training for a marathon, and I'm helping him with his training. And I'd say to him from day dot, it was like, look, be selfish, put your family first and do this and do that. But when it comes to it, and you're at 19 mile in a marathon in the middle of London or New York somewhere, where's all these fuckers that are drawing your energy and your time? They're sitting in Newry waiting for you to fuck up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So be selfish, look after number one, and if they're pulling you down, fuck off. Mind you, don't tell them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're being positive and you're wanting to do this and do that, don't tell it to them people then. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Let them go on. That's their issue, not yours. Do you know what I mean? Like?
No, exactly. I think something we want to get into as well, because we had quite a lot of questions
go
about
for it.
running and stuff
Yeah,
here.
go,
So
go.
one of the main questions people want to know, apart from like why you enjoy running, which I think we sort of covered there earlier on, was a lot of people I think in their lifetime would love to run a marathon. Do you know what I mean? Just partake in one and do it, and fucking brilliant. I would love to do one in my time as well. What advice would you give those people? As in, like, what is it you need to do, or what should you expect really?
If you
just want to do just a one and done, I just want to do a marathon. I want to run the whole thing without stopping.
I'm telling you now, I swear to God, anybody at all that thinks they can't do it, I swear to you now, anybody can do it. Unless you haven't got any legs, but we ran cinnamon here who could fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I told him that too. But I swear to you, it's so daunting. Like, I spent my whole life round running, but never done a marathon until 2 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I had this whole, 26 mile and blah, blah, blah. And then I remember watching them and seeing people literally blowing your mind, and you're going, how the hell, how'd they get round it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And maybe taking 6 hours and 7 hours, whatever. I promise you now, anybody, you and anybody out there sitting listening, or anybody that thinks they're too heavy, their legs are too sore, they've got a sore back, stop making all the waffle excuses.
Yeah.
Stop making an excuse to do it. Pick a charity and say, you know what? Fuck, I've signed up and I'm going to do this for such and such. Now this charity's relying on me.
Yeah.
Make excuses to do it, not to do it. Advice wise, again, everybody's different, so you got to just start off slow though, and start off walking.
Yeah.
If you've no fitness background at all, get out for a 20-minute walk. Go for 20 minutes to 30 minutes to 40 minutes. When you're out walking for an hour, then start to run for 5 minutes within every 10 minutes, within every, and just slowly progress. There'll be 1,000,001 different things on the internet for you to...
Would you advise covering that distance? This probably a stupid question. Would you advise covering that distance, so the 26 miles before going to the event?
No, I've never done it.
Really?
I've never ran 26 miles. Well, like,
never trained it?
Nah.
Just only on the event day?
And the adrenaline and on the day. Now, someone else probably more qualified than me might come on and say, bullshit, you need to do that. There's one of Northern Ireland's best marathon runners at the minute. He put a thing up the other day that he covered a 30-mile training run. He's an Olympic athlete. You're asking, how does someone finish a marathon?
Yeah, that's about finishing it.
Yeah. You could get yourself built up to a 20-mile run, 21-mile run, and you'll get round a marathon on the day. Like, you don't need to make it to 26 mile in training. You'll get round on the day. The buzz, the atmosphere, it would scare the life out of you.
The motivations, you said, looking at people beside you and around you.
It's an emotional roller coaster. I'm telling you go through one street and you think you're Superman and everyone's playing music and all, and then you go down the next street and there's no one there, and then you're going, oh Jesus, and you're thinking of your family and who you're doing it for, and maybe a charity, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ, how am I going to drop out? Where am I going to drop out? And then the next street there's music again. It's mental. But anybody can do it. Anybody, promise you.
And it doesn't make any difference whether it's like a fucking town marathon, a city marathon, a big marathon.
I would advise more to go and do a big one. Like,
really? Yeah.
100%.
What's the biggest one you've done?
I've only done Dublin. I'm in London.
Okay.
I'm in London this year.
Registered for London. I thought you'd done it before.
Yeah, no, I haven't been in it before, so I'm buzzing about that. Like, but I've only been down to Dublin a couple of times. But Dublin's amazing too. But I just think for atmosphere wise and all, to get you around and for you to get a good, like, if you're going to do one and you might not never do one again, not trying to take away from local town ones and stuff, but it's just a much better,
make an event of it. Like,
but you don't want to be stuck 19 mile out of road somewhere knowing there's not a single person cheering you on from there to the finish line.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because I've heard these people before, they're like, oh, I did one before him, but I did the Boston one. You're like, that's fucking cool. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, like, that's cool.
And to be running around the streets of America somewhere, like, and you want to see the signs people hold. People don't even know you, and they're holding signs saying you're amazing and all. And you're like, oh, me, all right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And cheering you on and shouting things at you. It's crazy, crazy stuff. But anybody can do it. Anyone.
Yeah. Get into a few of these questions because we're near an hour. 51 minutes, so we'll get into a few of the questions people sent in. Some of them a bit random, but some of them will just go. Some of them people know you, but I don't do any names on this, so just fire them out. Someone want to know, I presume this is a mate of yours, have you ever run a good marathon in your...
I could nearly pick the couple of guys that probably put that question out there. No, not yet.
No?
No.
Why would you say that?
Because I've done two, and I've only done two of them, and both of them went wrong. Like. It's an alright time.
What do you mean goes wrong? Like,
for both of them, for my first ever one, I wanted to break 240, and I ran 240.26, so 26 seconds out. Come home heartbroken. Different people are going, that's a really good time for a first marathon, and you're like,
so if you ran 2:39.59,
I would have been happy that day, but now I've ran 240 twice. So I've a monkey on my back, been like, Jesus Christ, how am I going to get rid of this? Like, so. No, I haven't run a good one yet, no. And that makes you sound like an arrogant prick, but it's not.
No, it's all obviously personal. Like, it's all how you...
I want to know the cheeky fucker asked that.
Somebody wants to know best foods to eat before your marathon. Or maybe just in run in general, would there be like a good, porridge? Or
again, I have been the worst person in the world with food. So no point. People look at you and think because you're running and you do run all your life that you're great at diets and you're great at this and you're great at that. Brutal. I've gone lately to Mickey Smith that owns EST, one of the owners of EST, and I've asked Mickey to help me a wee bit with my diet, like, because now in the running to a marathon you probably play it smart and you probably do this and that, eat your porridge and eat this and eat that. But sure, I was only doing what I was reading.
Would you ever eat foods during the marathon or like do like a
gels and stuff? Yeah. Like the last one I done, I tried to eat like a wee flapjack bar. By the time I went to eat it, I was bonked. I couldn't chew it, spitting it out. So it's too far gone. So again, I've went and asked Mickey for help there down that line just with nutrition for the running months into it. Like, so he's helped me, which was really good of him, like, to do that. But it's not something I could advise someone a wee bit. If you tell me you eat crap and junk all day, I'd be like, yeah, well, you should be eating this and this. But I'm only passing on information that someone's helping me with. Like. Yeah. But during the marathon, gels and a wee bit of food, that's it. Like.
A lot of these are, I suppose, then very specific. Then, because I'm not going to ask specific questions, I'll just I'll generalize them, sort of thing. Someone wants to know. So for like Gaelic sort of sports, static stretching, should it be included within your warm up?
Yeah, Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. Like, but again, everybody's warm up's different, right? And I fucking hate to go back to that all the time. And I understand if you go to a night's Gaelic training and there's a coach trying to get it all into an hour slot, like.
Yeah.
But you should be different to me, different to someone else, and you should all do your generic warm up, and there should be 5 to 10 minutes left for everyone else outside of that. So if you've got a hamstring issue or a quad issue or hip flexors, well, it should be 10 minutes left for me, you, and someone else. Fuck off and do your own. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So if static stretching in there is going to work for someone, and someone else is like, oh fuck, that hurts me, you should be left with your own wee 10 minutes. Everyone should have that.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Someone, God, these questions are hilarious.
Go.
Someone wants to know cold water therapy. I want to leave this part out. Cold water therapy hurts my balls getting in. But how good is it for recovery?
Very good. Cold water therapy is brilliant, and it's around for a long time, and I do it myself as well. It's not like I'm in my massage place going, it's a load of shite, blah blah. It's brilliant. But what you're doing is increasing the blood flow, which blood flow's carrying oxygen. Oxygenated blood is what fixes us. So it's class. Yeah. But you don't need to get hooked up on it. It's right now everyone's going through this wee jumping into rivers and lakes and all. People have been doing it for years, ice baths and all. It's not something you need to do every day. And if you do it every day, it's not going to help you anymore. Like, you should be doing it every couple of days. It's great. Long story short, yeah, it's good for you. 100%.
Good for you.
And put a wee sack over your balls if you're having trouble.
Keep them warm.
Yeah.
Don't know why they felt the need to put that bit fucking in there, but sure, is what it is. Personally, something I want to know, working with MMA fighters, so you've worked with Daki and stuff, and this I just felt them because obviously you chat away to them.
Yeah.
One thing I found very strange with Daki is I'm sitting there talking to him, and at any stage he could get up and fucking kill me.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Did that ever cross your mind whenever you give him a massage or the guys? I know, like, don't get me wrong, there, he's an absolute gent. That's the way. He's an absolute gent, but like,
yeah, I did say that because I was working with him and a few other lads too, and they've all got this wee nice laid back persona where they come in. You'd nearly think they were stoned themselves, like, well, what's the crack? And you're like, what the fuck? These maniacs, as you say, could rip your face off. And I think I made a wee joke one day with Daggy, and it was something about, because Mickey works with Daggy too, and Mickey says slag him about his calves, his legs, his wee skinny legs. And I was working away on Daggy, and I says, oh, look at the wee skinny calves on you. And just in a split second, he was like, they'll be wrapped around your fucking head in a second or something. I was like, woo! And I was like, oh, in 2 seconds he could literally but yeah, they do, they scare the life out of me, and I think that's class because they obviously hold all that in, whatever mad maniac they have inside themselves. Yeah. They keep it locked up during normal life, but they're very laid back, aren't they? Him too.
So chill.
He sits there all the time,
just
chilled
like
out.
I was just like, he's just like, do like a silent assassin almost.
Yeah.
They just sit there, and at any moment they could just flick the switch and go.
Yeah, but I suppose that's
that training. That's what you're trained to do.
Have a time and place for it, like. Yeah. But they're I found with a few of them, they're all like a
fascinating dudes, like
class.
Fascinating, like.
But every sport you should take from all of it, man. Take from all of it. Take from Daggy and different. Like, I've only opened up to loads of sports being in that job now. And taken from everybody. Every sport can learn from each other. Like,
I found it funny whenever we were talking just before this that you just said you've no other interests. I was like, it's like, sure, like any other sports or anything else, like you take interest in them, but it's just.
I love cycling. Like, I did a cycling for a wee while too, and I love following. Like, I followed cycling from years ago. Like, so I like it. But see, football and all, I hate it, mate. When people come into me and they're about United and we did this and we did that, I'm like, oh fuck, I don't follow this at all. Like, and scores and getting angry about players. But nah, I don't really. Very, very simple, easy life.
Someone wants to know, have you got a favourite tattoo? You can see you've a couple of tattoos creeping through there. Have you a favourite tattoo you have?
I have one on the back of my leg about my wee girl. So that's probably my favourite. Like, I have a few, they've all got wee meaning behind them. Like, you
wouldn't just get a random tattoo, would you?
Oh, I do, surely. I have loads of them from years ago too. Like. But there's nothing bad or nothing that would offend anyone. And I've got a few relating to my mates that I lost as well. So they mean a lot to me too. Like, nice. And people don't see them or know what they mean. Like, but they mean a lot to me. But I'd say the one from a wee girl, like, because it's the first one. Like, you have a child, mate, your mind just your world blows apart. Like, so yeah, that's her wee name and the time she was born and different. There's a whole leg piece on that. Like, so that's nice. My favourite one. Yeah.
There's a guy Santi Carzoli, he was a footballer, he used to play for Arsenal, and basically, long story short, his Achilles got infected, and he was talking about, they're talking one stage about amputating and stuff. What happened was they did some sort of surgery where they lifted the muscle fibers from his arm and put them into his Achilles and restructured it. But the exact part of his arm they took it from was half of the tattoo. Similar to what you said, his daughter's name and the date of birth. So half the tattoo is on his arm and the other half the tattoos now on actually the back of his Achilles. It's
Oh
the
my
craziest. You should look it
God.
up and you see it.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. Like, and like
Jesus.
the part on his arm is just all scar tissue and like rotten now with half a tattoo, and then the other side is just this fucking tattoo in the back.
I have a
his Achilles.
scar across here where a hernia ruptured through my stomach in a half marathon. So it's just a line right across here, and I wanted to get 13.1 the half marathon distance tattooed across the top of it, just for people to go, what the fuck's that about? But yeah, it happened halfway through a race, like.
Fucking hell. So what? You were just sort of taking pain, were you? And you're just
well, it just went wiped out, like completely. What happened there? And
you hit the deck?
No, I finished. I'm a child at the finish line waiting on a medal. I had to fucking finish, and rushed straight to hospital, like in a 3.5 hour emergency operation.
Oh my God.
So I have a nice wee line across there. I might still get that tattoo for
you should.
I've on the back of my leg says long runs of fox. Had to get that too. That's Sydney
yeah.
one night at 4 o'clock in the morning.
That would have been rude not to. Like, couldn't go your whole life without that.
Yeah, so they'll all tell a wee story.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. I haven't got any tattoos myself. I always like, just that some people just don't appeal to.
Yeah.
Like that, for some reason, I just don't see myself getting one. And it's not like I would love to get one, but I wouldn't have the nerdy one. For me, it's just like, nah, there's nothing important enough in my life yet. It's like you have a daughter and stuff, and really important things here where, I don't know, I just go with the breeze, like, you know, don't think about too much these days. But I think, Mike, we'll wrap it up around that. I've thoroughly enjoyed having you on, and that hour has flown past.
Thank you, mate. It's brilliant. Thanks for having me.
For myself as well. Have you any closing comments or anything else you want to throw out there while you're here?
Don't think so. Look, again, try and encourage everybody, mate, to get out and get at it. Like, and I know it's me being biased. Like, there's too many people out there think that they can't run, they won't run, they're not fit to run, blah blah blah. There's loads of people out there in their 40s and 50s. They're taking it up now, and every single one of them will tell you they wish they were doing it. Wish they had started younger. Like, so if you haven't got a sport or you're not doing sport, or them people out there go, I'd love to run a marathon someday. Every single person can do it. Get out, get started. If I can help in any way, shape or form, if it's only a message to say how will I get started, how will I get this, how will I get that, if it's anything to do with sports massage, if it's anything to do with training, shoes, anything, give me a shout. Anybody, like,
where would be the best place for people to get you? Instagram?
It doesn't matter. Instagram, Facebook, doesn't matter. Anything at all. Like, it doesn't matter. My phone number's on there if people want to send you a WhatsApp, whatever. But I want to help and encourage everybody to get out for your mental state and your physical. It's fucking brilliant. So anybody at all wants to get started, get at it. And any problems or issues, I don't know everything, but if I only know more than you, I can help you. You know what
like,
I mean?
there's even a simple thing like me asking you about, here, what about shoes, and like do stuff, and the next thing I learn, your feet can be slanted this way, that way, or inverted, or stuff like
so silly, like
so fucking silly.
And that could be the difference in someone training for a week and giving up and not going back to it. Like,
exactly. So I hope this has definitely been something a wee bit different for me. I have had like fitness people on, but they've all been like online coaches and gym people. So having someone on with a run background has been brilliant.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Some quality stories in there as well. That Australia story will stick with me for probably get spread around the pub tonight.
Stick with me. That poor wife of mine. God love her.
I'll not be telling my woman about that one. I'll be saying no, with Australia, nothing ever bad happens.
It's brilliant.
It's be class.
Home and away.
It'd be class. Have you any? I suppose you're settled now. You have no more travels or anything planned, have you?
No chance. No way. No. Jesus Christ. I'm near 35. Married, mortgage, child, cars, the whole works. Job. I'm going nowhere. If I get a wee holiday a year, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Where would you love to go? Where would we?
I don't know. Like, you'll have to go on my family holidays and all. Me and Michelle says we'll always love to go back to Australia to take a wee visit there. So maybe when we're married 10 years or something, we go back. We're married 6 years this year. Like, so
very good. Congratulations.
Go back 10 years. We'll give it a wee go. Leave kids at home and all
that. Very good. Mick, I appreciate you coming on. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. If you can, go over and check out his Instagram page, or if you want, reach out.
Anything at all.
Anything at all. That's what the guy's there for. And I've had an absolute blast, so thanks again, and I'll see you all again in the next one. Cheers, Mick.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you.